you doing?
Yo.
What's going on? Welcome back to Leather Helmet Sports Podcast. We are going into Week 11 bets. Week 10 went pretty well for us. I think we were both on the positive side. We are getting back to 50 if you want to roll up the numbers. Can't see any of them. There we go. That's
Ignore the Week 9 typo. It's Week 10 results.
So we got Josh going at a 5.2 positive units and me at a 21 positive units. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with
17.5 from your
17.5.
Michigan lock.
Right. And then my other lock hit, Josh's lock hit as well, which mine was Montgomery anytime touchdown. Josh, yours was
Teasered with Cardinals and 49ers. Both were at plus points, but they both won. So
basically we doubled what we had a combined profit with in 1 week.
I think we're at like 17 wins, 16, 17 wins. At least
For
16 lock wins. It's like 16, 4 and 3 or 4 and 2.
I know I said I would look up next time what it was, but I didn't get the chance of that. So it is what it is with all these giveaways this week that we got coming up. Real fast before we get into Week 11, in case you guys leave, most likely will leave if you're even watching this video. If you are a YouTube subscriber for our giveaway, you have to make your subscriptions public so that way we can see it. YouTube sucks and doesn't have subscriptions public to everyone, and you can't see all your subscribers as easily as you can see it on like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. It's very hectic and confusing. So if you could, to try to get into it, head over to YouTube and just YouTube how to look up to make your subscriptions public, and then that way you can be entered in for sure. We will try our best to get everyone in, and then we'll go from there. But be on the lookout for that. It's 150 cash. 2 people will be picked, and then we should have some more coming up in the near future. And hopefully we can give away more. So let's get right into Week 11. You want to actually go over our yearly?
Yeah, yearly we're at in the 40s now. Yep, so 42.5 almost. So Kale's back in the positive at 18 units, almost 18. I'm at 25. We're both like right at that 50% hit rate, which is pretty good, especially considering we're at like 80% for locks.
Right.
So if you notice, the one thing that's big difference between us, I don't know if it's just because you put bigger units or you bet more than me. You only have like 10 to 20 more bets than me on the year, but you have almost 100 more units betted. So like I have 170, you have 250.
That's a lot more.
Yeah. So take it as it is, but
there, so
yeah, I mean, you're right below me in percentage, not by far.
And make it less boring, let's say that. Make more games fun.
Sure.
By betting on more games. As long as I'm not going negative.
Yeah, getting close. I think we still hit our goal.
Yeah, definitely. The goal is 100 plus units combined. So whether that comes with Josh getting 80 plus units and me only getting 20, but hopefully that's not the situation because that would look bad for me. But let's move on to our Week 11 bets.
Well, no, not yet. I got to spin my wheel.
Oh, yeah. Josh lost last week. Obviously, mainly because of Michigan. What was your line this week? Mine was plus 17. What was yours?
Plus 5 or something.
Oh, so you would have never won regardless.
Yeah. I knew when you hit your lock, I'm like, well, I'm just going to try to go positive and not worry about it.
Right.
Let's spin this boy and see what I get. Not much left. I got 7 left. So bounce back. I feel like I did that.
What's bounce back?
I feel like that shouldn't be in there. Could be wrong.
Look and maybe it's spin again.
Bounce back. No, I didn't do this. Give out 50% of next week's profits to a random follower.
So this week you will be doing your last week wheel, which is chooses your least favorite fantasy player, right?
Yeah. Oh shit, I gotta do that.
Well, you can do that after the podcast, but or while we're talking. But you got to do your least favorite fantasy player, or
no? I just got to take an under on any of my starting fantasy people this week.
Okay. All right. So that obviously that balances out if he has a bad.
So it's
fantasy
a lose-lose situation.
week. Yeah, pretty much.
Like I either lose money or my guy sucks on my fantasy team.
But you could just go like, oh, I know this guy's gonna have a down week, and you're
Yeah,
already
but
putting
I'm
him
starting
ahead.
him, so it still sucks my fantasy.
Yeah, it sucks that you had to start him, but he could just have a down week and still have good production. You never know.
I mean, I guess if he gets a touchdown, but
I would do it
I
on
don't
like
know.
your biggest dudes. That's what I would do it on.
I don't freaking know. I'll find out.
All right. Well, and then next week you'll be doing the wheel you just spun right there.
Bounce back. So I mean, this one I don't really have to wait for next week. I can just this week's. If I'm profitable, half of it's got to go to a random follower.
Okay.
So next week we can spin for them.
Half of your profit.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go like plus
So if
5
I go
units,
plus
2.5 units.
5 units. Yeah, 2.5 units. If I go plus 15 units.
All right.
7.5.
Well, let's hope Josh goes positive then. And we will get into week 11. Week 11 bets. I'm going to start it off with Steelers versus Browns.
Oh.
It's the only spread
Thought about
over under I have. It's Steelers versus Browns at plus 104 for 1 unit. They are not favored versus the Browns that have a backup.
They're a favorite now.
They're now?
They're plus 1.5. I just was on.
Why is their money line plus 104?
Probably changed. It is currently at plus 104, and they're
Yeah. So they're not
yeah,
favored.
they are favored because Browns are negative 122.
So they're not favored. What are you talking about? Negative 122 would be Browns being favored. What are you smoking, pot?
I don't know,
Okay.
but yeah,
So Steelers are not favored. Browns are favored, and Browns have a backup quarterback. Not sure if they announced which one it's going to be. If it's PJ Walker.
Dorian Thompson, I heard.
Is it him?
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well,
The
he was
rookie.
first on the depth chart, so maybe it is him. Either way, whoever plays, I don't think they're going to be able to do much versus the Steelers. One great thing we have is Pat Freiermuth that's coming back this week. He's a big red zone target for us and just middle of the field, which none of our other really weapons can handle the middle of the field other than Johnson from time to time. But Johnson and Pickens usually play the outside. So it's good to have Pat Freiermuth back. Browns defense is very good, but they let Steelers get their season high of 26 points. It's not really that crazy of a high, but it is their high in week 2 with no Johnson. Deontay Johnson is who I'm talking about. So now we have Johnson back. And in the past 3 seasons, Steelers have gone 9-3 to backup quarterbacks. So we're going into the game with a backup quarterback. Past 3 seasons, 9-3 versus backup quarterbacks. I could see the pass rush getting to the Browns extremely fast and putting pressure on them to make bad plays and having a big play. Turnovers, a bunch of turnovers, maybe 2, maybe 3 for the Steelers in favor of the Steelers. And Fitzpatrick, let's pray and hope that he's back. He probably won't be back, but I'm hoping that he is. If he's not, at least he'll be back next week with a Joe Burrow-less Bengals. But yeah, taking Steelers money line plus 104 for 1 unit, and move on to your bets.
So I got 2 money lines, spread / money lines. I got Chargers -3. They are playing the Packers. It is a away game for the Chargers, but I just have zero hope for the Packers.
What's
watching
the odds?
them. -110. I got
Yeah.
1.5 units on it.
All right.
But yeah, it's more. I don't love the Chargers because they're just a team that gives up points. They really don't depend on their defense to win games. They're very offensive minded, but Justin Herbert's been playing like really, really, really well. And with Eckler back and everybody kind of get like the chemistry going a little bit more, like it feels like the rookies starting to play a little better. Everyone's just getting involved, and I feel like their offense is going to flow so much against the Packers that are just don't have any motivation.
Yeah.
And they do have a decent amount of injuries, so like everything's just going bad for the Packers currently, while Chargers, although their record sucks, it really should be probably another 2 wins. And if they win this, they have a better, if not slim chance of actually making the playoffs. So I just see them, even though it's at Lambeau, It's going to be cold, slightly raining. I just think the Chargers are way better offense. So Packers can feel good if they think they're going to put up points because Chargers defense sucks, but it doesn't really matter when your Chargers are putting up 30 points.
Yeah.
Like, Love has not looked good. He's completed less than 50% or just about 50% of his passes. His wide receivers are under 50%. The tight end is the only one who catches over 50%. Aaron Jones came back, but he still doesn't look too great yet in full health.
No,
So,
he's still questionable with his hamstring.
yeah, so I like it a lot. I just feel like they are a way better team and deserve more than that -3.
Yeah. The toughest part about Chargers is like they let you down over and over. At least they've let other people down. They never really let me down, maybe like once in my betting career. But like,
Yeah,
you think they're gonna win or by a lot, and then they're just like, nope, our defense is so ass.
I definitely think they can get overhyped quick just because them against an actual playoff contending team doesn't really make sense because their defense is so bad.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about low tier teams that they've been losing to the Raiders, the Packers, they've been losing to I don't know, Jets, like just trash teams. They've not looked good in any way. So that's why I got that. And then I got a teaser. I put the Dolphins and the Eagles. So I'm teasing them for +6. So that gives you the Dolphins, when you tease them at +6, you get to -6.5. So they play the Raiders at home. The Dolphins are home, that is. So they just got to win by a touchdown. I mean, the Dolphins haven't been playing as well, but I think Devon Achane will be back this week.
Yep, he's back.
And even without him, they should be able to easily blow out the Raiders. And then your Eagles, you get +8.5 for a Monday night game versus the Chiefs. It is a away game for the Eagles, but I think it's going to be an exciting game that will come down to the end, but I don't see it going by more than a touchdown, especially like more than 8 points. So +8.5 for the Eagles. You put them two together, you get -134 odds. I got 2 units on it.
All right. Negative what?
134.
134.
So 2 units to win 1.5 units.
I like it. I'm going to stay in the same game that you talked about before, Green Bay versus Chargers. I am taking Luke Musgrave.
Hey.
Having a tight end fetish, you could say, this weekend.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I'm
Mark
never
Andrews.
betting on a tight end again.
Yeah, Mark Andrews disappointed me. He got hurt. He's out for the season.
Before that even.
Joe Burrow went down. He's out for the season. So Thursday did not look good. I'm already -3 units.
Really?
It's what I do, dude. I just start off negative every Thursday imaginable.
Let me go 3.
It should easily happen.
20.
If anyone followed along that bet, you understand exactly
know
how I
what you
feel
mean,
if you
though.
watch
Like,
the game.
Like it would have hit if injuries didn't come
It
in.
would have easily hit.
So did my Luke Musgrave.
It was a joke.
I bet on Luke Musgrave earlier this year.
Yeah, I remember you
You
doing
know what
that.
happened? He got injured.
Well, let's hope he doesn't get injured this time because I got him over 26.5 receiving yards at minus.
Did?
Yep.
What the hell?
Over
Something's
26.5 receiving yards at -114. I got 2 units on that. He went over this 6 of the 9 weeks.
Hold up.
Chargers are 7th in rushing yards allowed per play, but dead last in passing yards allowed per game. 6 tight ends went over this number versus the Chargers. Here goes the 6 tight ends that went over.
Wow.
Laporta, 40. Conklin, 66. Komet, 79. Kelsey, 179. Hawkinson, 78. And Okonokowa, Titans tight end, whatever that last name is, 35 yards. So when you got 6 tight ends and you're dead last in receiving yards allowed per game, you're most likely going to be able to get thrown on. It's that plain and simple, especially when Packers aren't really a rushing team. They were back when they had Rodgers, but now they use Aaron Jones more in the passing game than anything. And what's his name hasn't had a great season. It hasn't been a horrible season, A.J. Dillon, but it hasn't been anything to what it was last year. But game script wise, I see the Chargers always being in the lead, or if not, they're always going to be in it. Like you said, you're taking them at -3. I just see them being the far and beyond better team. The rush defense has actually held a lot of running backs low. So hopefully they hold Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. If they hold that, then there's not much they can do other than throw the ball, which they can throw the ball versus Chargers. But the thing is Love is not. I would say he's not a starting caliber quarterback right now. The league's just plummeting with quarterbacks. There's really not that much good quarterbacks like now, especially healthy wise now, with Joe Burrow going out. So I just think he shouldn't be a starter, and he's just a starter because he got put in a situation where Rodgers left. They had a second round pick on him. Or was it a first round pick? I forget.
I think it was early second.
So they're just going to use him until they get proven otherwise, which I think in another year they'll show that they're going to have to move on from him.
That's a wild line.
Yeah.
So
Over
much
26 and a half receiving yards. The fact that it's just because he usually only gets like two to three receptions in a game lately. He's only gotten like 7 or 8 receptions twice all year. But it's usually just because he gets 2 or 3 receptions. Receptions.
His receptions at 2.5.
Yeah, he usually gets 2. Sometimes he gets 3. But he is a big red zone target, so that helps as well when you're packaged up in the red zone. That usually means that you're used during the game and when you get down to red zone.
Just surprised he doesn't use him more, considering he like catches the ball more than all his receivers.
Yeah, I mean they just have, I wouldn't say a plethora of, or whatever the word is, of wide receivers, but like average to above average wide receivers. Yeah. So he just like distributes the ball. Plus Aaron Jones is like the best catch back in the game.
Yeah, the Aaron Jones thing I think factors in a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna piggyback on that and just make a higher odds. I usually don't like crazy high odds as like official picks. Yeah, like plus 500s. But I do. Oh, okay. Just by you talking about that makes me think this is a really good pick. So I'm going to parlay Musgraves 30. Alternate 50-plus receiving yards. 50. And then, I just feel like there's a really good chance of hitting. I was just surprised how low the line is because I've taken Musgrave over like 45 and have hit. And then I'm taking Calvin Ridley 60-plus receiving yards to parlay them. I think both these guys are just up and down type players. They both have explosive play in them. And they both know what kind of talent, like the team knows what kind of talent they have in them. So when they're used properly in the game scheme, it just happens. So these lines are reasonable for either of them. You get plus 884 odds, and I just got 1 unit on it. So I feel pretty good about it, enough to risk a whole unit.
All right. Well, good luck with that. You can definitely do it, don't get me wrong. Like I said, especially Ridley. But being a Ridley owner, man, that dude pisses me off like no other.
Shit, but it's up and down. You gotta take it. You gotta take your shot when you know it.
Yep. All right. Well,
they play the Titans.
Just piggyback there. I'll move on to my anytime touchdown score. I got Brian Robinson of the Washington Commanders.
I say Bijan.
Nah, off Bijan now. Brian Robinson anytime touchdown score plus 100 for 2 units. Giants gave up 16 rushing touchdowns to opposing teams. Robinson has 8 touchdowns and only missed 3 games from getting a touchdown. Giants are 24th in rushing yards allowed per game, meaning you can run on them. And Robinson ran 1 in the last time they played this year. He has also caught 3 catches for a touchdown, so he can do it in the run game or the receiving game. Most of the time they use Gibson, but if he's there and Sam can't find anyone to get it to, he can just check it down to him because he is the pass blocker most of the time for him, unless it's a third down situation. Gibson's usually in. But situational-wise, I see this either being a close game or Washington winning it convincingly. Washington has been like up and down this whole season. I think they even lost the last time they played Giants. I'm not entirely sure. But they have very, very close games versus the Eagles. So that just shows me that they have some kind of grit. Obviously, they gave up their 2 best defensive players, which is not saying much at all other than we're not here for this year. But I think Brian Robinson is here for this year, considering how many touchdowns he's got. And the Giants just let people running in 24/7. So with the Giants being the worst team, plus 100, 2 units.
At plus money, I like it.
Yeah. Nowadays, with touchdowns, it's hard to get plus.
On a starting running back.
Right. Starting running back that scores 8 touchdowns in 10 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever, how many weeks it's been. Yeah, it's pretty tough to get those kind of odds. So I'm gonna lock it in for 2 units, and let's hope he does.
Eric, the Bieniemy, wherever you say his last name, the Commanders' offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. He's planning on going to Chargers to be a head coach.
Interesting. A head coach?
I think that's what they said. I'm like, okay.
He's planning it, or he's getting the interview?
That's just like rumored.
Well, they need help defensive-wise. He's offensive coordinated, so I'm more interested in who they're going to get for defense.
I swear it was Eric the enemy they were talking about. I don't know. Maybe it was somebody else. Anyways, I got talking about the Chargers. I got Eckler over 59.5 rushing yards. Same reason as I said before. I think the Chargers are way better offense. I think they're going to get the lead. Game script's going to go his way. And I just like Eckler a lot, especially the more and more he gets his reps and health back.
Yeah.
Tough part is 1 unit for -114.
Tough part with Eckler is he hasn't been used as much in the run game this year, but obviously, like you said, he's been hurt. But he's been used a lot. I mean, obviously, every single year he's used a lot in the passing game, especially when you have your second best wide receiver out. But the tough part is just like, will he get enough attempts, I guess you would say.
Once he gets 11 to 12, he'll be all right.
All right. Is Green Bay Packers rush defense bad? I don't even know that. I didn't even look into that.
I mean, just going off the top of my head, the best they are is middle of the pack.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking they're at, too. I don't really watch much of their rush.
And it's probably not that high even because they've been losing every game.
I think Steelers put over 200 rushing on them. Let me see that.
That doesn't sound wrong because Najee had a good game, so did Warren.
Yeah, like they literally had the best rushing game they ever had.
Yeah.
They had 183 rushing yards on Green Bay, so I guess it's not that great. So I like it.
I'm going to take the other running back opposite of Brian Robinson. I'm taking Saquon Barkley. I do think the Commanders are going to take the lead and be able to win this game just because Giants QB's butt cheeks. He might be the worst currently.
Is Jones back? No, Jones isn't back. It's like Da Vinci or whatever.
Davis or Dion. I don't freaking know.
Like Da Vinci something.
He's trash.
Yeah.
But because he's trash, I think he's going to rely on Barkley. Watching him, I watched a little bit of the Giants game last week, I think it was.
You're taking his what? Rushing?
No. Receiving over 17.5.
Receiving?
Over 17.5. Yeah.
That low?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, like, Barkley surprisingly is always pretty low.
Yeah.
Just because he's not utilized as much as you would think he'd been as he has in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you watch this DeVito, whatever his name is, guy, he actually targets Barkley quite a bit. He just throws such crappy passes behind him on a screen or something that Barkley can't do much with it, or he's getting whopped like behind the line of scrimmage. So as long as he doesn't start off -6 yards, I think he can hit this line pretty easy with a couple of catches. So I got 1 unit on it and -114 odds.
They used to put him out wide, and now like they never put him out wide, and it pisses me off watching those games. So I'm just like,
I mean, they got a plethora of wide receivers too, but they're more average to below average.
Yeah, exactly.
But they have a lot of them.
Below
a lot.
I'd say most of them are below
like
average.
Hyatt looks really good, but I don't think they're gonna.
He's so just boom or bust. Not even boom. Like
he
he's
looks
like
fast.
Deep catch guy, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's.
I think he could be more.
I don't think so. But moving on, I got the good faithful C.J. Stroud. Josh steered away from him. I'm going towards him now. I'm taking C.J. Stroud. I'm taking C.J. Stroud over 262.5 passing yards at -114 for 1 unit. Now, look, I looked into this bet, and there's a lot of negatives going into it, and I almost steered away from it, but I stuck with my gut. I'm going to take the over. It's really close to an over and under. It's on the higher side, I would say. So if you want to take it at 250 and parlay with someone else, go for it. QB. Yeah. But that there's reasons for that it's that high. He's gone over this 5 of the 9 weeks, obviously over 50%. There's one clear thing when he plays a top 10 defense, which is one of the negatives, against the pass, he goes under, and the rest are all over. Now, I don't know if that means that it's just top 10 teams or if it's top 11 teams, because Cardinals are 11th in passing yards allowed per game. So hopefully it's not a top 10 thing and it's more just or top 11 thing. It's more just a top 10. Whenever he plays them, he goes under. But he hasn't really gone under dramatically versus top 10 teams. Like he's been like 10 yards short, 15 yards short, something like that. So it hasn't been anything crazy. But Singletary rushed 30 times last time. Isn't that insane? 30 attempts.
I mean, it's crazy for a back like Singletary.
Just anyone. That's such a high number.
I would expect Barkley, Henry, CMC.
I guarantee not one of those has a 30 attempt.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised by those guys.
Yeah,
versus Singletary,
30,
it's a super small back who is
30
not,
on Stroud. That is second in passing yards. Is insane. Weird. 30 times for 150 yards last week. So I can't see them using him as much like that again. I think they're going to route back to the passing game. Another negative, which I'm pointing out more negatives, I guess you could say, and this is why I kind of want to steer away with it, but I'm going to stick with it, is that, what's his name is out? Not Nico. Nico's back, and the other guy is out. Brown, that came over from Dallas.
Nobody cares about him.
Yeah, but he gives them receiving yards, so it is what it is. Either way, they have a plethora of above average wide receivers at their disposal. And with their best coming back in Nico Collins, Nico, which way it goes, I think he can go over this. I don't even know. I don't have it written down. I don't even know who they play. Who do they play?
Texans?
Yeah.
They play the, I don't know.
Let's see. It's bad. Cardinals.
Yeah, you just said it.
Yeah, I did say that. I do have it written down. Yeah, they play Cardinals. I can see with Murray being back and showing that he wants to win, I still think it's like them just trying to shine him up and him just wanting to look good to go to another team, or just for them to stick with him and he get paid again. If he didn't get paid, I don't know. But either way,
he got a decent amount of money.
I can see them not blowing them out, even though Texans have blown out teams before. So I think it will be a close game, if not a blowout from them. So I don't think they're going to have to steer away from the passing game at all, which means it's a positive for him. But like I said, most of the time when he goes up against a defense like this versus the passing game, then it's not looking good for him. Plus, Cardinals, we all know, I think they only have 2 wins. So that tells you that most of the time it's not like teams are blowing them out and rushing on them. But there has been a couple games where that's been the situation, like Cowboys. No, Cowboys got blown out by them. 49ers blew them out. So there's been a couple of them, but sticking with that.
All right. So I got one in that game. I got this is probably like a really nice bet if you're going off all last season. I got James Conner anytime touchdown score. So not positive odds, but pretty close for a guy who scored like 2 touchdowns back to back in last year's seasons. It's kind of like comparable to like a David Montgomery last year.
Yep.
But anyways, negative 105 odds, $5. So I'm probably gonna increase it to 10. So we'll do 2 units on James Conner anytime. I mean, it's really just coming down to, I think he's just going to get a good amount of opportunity at the goal line, at least 3 opportunities, if not 4 or 5. I do like Murray passing touchdowns, but I just think this game script is going to be a high-scoring game. So if you get 3 or 4 touchdowns of the Cardinals, give me one of them as James Conner.
Did he get one last week?
I don't believe so.
I think the other running backs took it from him.
I don't think he got a single one this year yet. I mean, he's only been back, 3 games?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I got in that game. You got more props or no?
Yeah, I got a couple more. Right. I got 2 more, actually. I got Will, another quarterback. Took him last week. Guess what? Lost. But guess what?
Trash.
I'm hitting him again. Will Levis over 212.5 passing yards for 1 unit at -114. Last time he was at like 240, 250 something, and he dropped all the way back. So I'm going to take him here. He has gone over 2 of the 3 games that he's played. Obviously, the last week is the one he missed. I bet on his over last week, and there was no way that he can go under back-to-back weeks.
Why not?
Versus 2 defenses on the stop that are the worst at stopping the pass.
The Jags are?
They let up, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're 30th.
A little surprising.
Jags are 30th in passing yards allowed per game, but 5th in rushing yards allowed per game. So they can stop the run, but they can't stop the pass for whatever reason. So I can see them stopping, what's his name, Henry. He hasn't really had a good year this year. I wouldn't say it was not a good year, but I don't even know what that was. He hasn't had a great year to his standards, but it hasn't been horrible. But he can obviously get stopped if you're going up a Jaguars defense that's 5th in rushing yards allowed per game. 7 out of 9 quarterbacks went over this, and most were above 280 yards when going against
Look at that repeat of last week.
them. Nah. This is a completely different defense. Purdy, he has 296 versus them. Carr, 301 yards. Minshew, 329. Allen, 359. Stroud, 280. Mahomes, 305. Richardson of the Colts, 223. So if my boy Richardson can get it done, then I think Will Levis can get it done as well versus this bad of a passing defense versus the Jaguars. So I'm going to take it at 1 unit, minus 114 over 212.5 passing yards. And you said you don't have any more?
I got 2 more.
All right, you good.
Wrap them up.
Yep.
All right. I got Dak Prescott under 258.5 passing yards. He plays the Carolina Panthers, away game for Prescott. I just think his line's a little overhyped because of the last couple of games.
What was it? To what?
258. Because, I mean, they do appear to be pass heavy. Like, they're throwing more than you would expect. Pollard's not getting as much work, but I think they like both their running backs, Pollard and Dowdle.
Yeah,
Dowdle.
I don't even know why they use them that much, but whatever.
But I think they like them. So, in a game I see as a lower scoring game, because I think the Panthers secondary can at least slow them down to the point like the clock runs out. I just don't see the Cowboys needing to throw much. Just play it safe when they're up by like a touchdown versus trying to blow a team out like they did last time, because I don't think it's going to be fast paced. I think they'll keep them from scoring big plays. So CeeDee Lamb might have a down game, or Brandon Cooks won't have another 100-yard game type of deal. So I got 1 unit on it, a negative 114 odds. And then my last prop, this is going to be a 2-leg parlay. I got Javonte Williams under 64.5 rushing yards. He's playing the Vikings. I like the Vikings a lot recently.
64 versus Vikings?
Yeah, it's pretty high.
That's high.
64.5, so under for there. And then I'm parlaying that with Isaiah Pacheco's under 48.5. So definitely a lower line.
Lose.
Definitely a lower line for Pacheco, but
Playing the Eagles.
he gets to play the Eagles. So I mean, really, we don't got to talk about that. He's just gonna go under, because I got the Eagles really wanting this game. I think they're gonna show up really, really hard on the defensive side and do enough on the offense. I think their offense might struggle against the Chiefs, but I think the defense is gonna make up for it. Couple sacks, strip sacks.
I'm gonna need more than a
some
couple.
interception.
Ravens just got 5 last night. He didn't get like 10 plus.
I think it's just going to go to work on the defensive side. So I got 2 units plus 252 odds on that one.
All right. It's a shame that the Eagles are going to let you down, but
Well,
for your
we're gonna
first
have to
time,
see.
right? That would be your first time betting on them and then losing it.
Yeah, I never lost one that I
We're
took.
so close with. We were both close to
Robinson.
Williams, and then you
Yeah,
were
Williams was
extremely
close.
close with Robinson and extremely close with Pollard. Pollard one was online. You didn't do it on the podcast. You remember betting that? Jeremy said, I followed the Pollard bet and it was stressing me out the entire time. I was
I don't
like,
think I took it.
yeah, you did. You posted it.
Oh,
Oh. Either way.
whatever. He was under for a while.
I'm moving on to my last prop bet.
I
I got
trust the process.
Rashad White under 45.5 rushing
Why
yards.
is he still that high, bro?
I don't know.
It's like I feel like his unders hit like
Minus 114
as
for
much as
one
the Eagles
unit.
hit.
He's only gone over this 4 times of the 9 weeks, so under 50% over this number. Like Josh just said, he doesn't really go over this much. The only compared defense to the 49ers that they've gone against have been the Lions. I think their defense is pretty good, especially when they get their secondary back, if they ever do. And then versus the Eagles, and they both went under, and he went under this both times versus both teams, Lions and Eagles. I see the 49ers taking the lead real fast. I think they're like favored by 11.5 right now.
11.5.
With being healthy, and now they just got Chase Young. And I think Baker's literally just going to think he has to be like the hero, and he's like, I have to pass the ball, man. I got to pass the ball. We're down. And he's literally going to be the one that loses them the game, either by fumbling it, throwing a pick, not being able to do anything with it other than maybe run for like a couple first downs. But this defense I see being edge and edge with, I see them above Eagles defense. Maybe not the front line. Edge and edge.
Maybe not rush defense, but their pass rush is wow.
Even their rush defense, I think, is pretty damn good when they're
it's
when you
good.
get Chase Young back.
I'm just saying, like,
or now you have
overall, it's definitely the best defense in the league.
Yeah, like I don't see them giving up quarterback sneaks to much teams at all, unless it's like straight up the middle, and even then, Armstead's going to be
only
right
person
there.
that I think
you got Hargrave coming over from Eagles.
Evades sacks really at all is Mahomes. Like, he's the only one that gets pressure to like actually smart enough to evade the sack.
Murray. I think Murray can evade sacks too. Murray's super agile and
I just feel like he makes dumb decisions sometimes, whereas Mahomes doesn't.
We'll see. But anyway, like I said, they're going to take the lead and go up fast, and Baker's going to have to be a hero, but he's not going to be a hero. So they're really, I think this has a lot to do with game script, plus 49ers defense being, I would say, elite, if not the best defense in the league right now. I would almost
take it as a lock.
CMC, anytime
touchdown
is, I don't know why I didn't highlight it, but I got one more prop. I forgot to say this one. CMC, anytime touchdown, minus 210. I get it. He probably lost all of you guys.
210? Holy crap.
I get it. He probably lost all of you guys hoping that he broke the record, and you guys all probably lost the bank on it. Well, this is his great time to bounce back playing Buccaneers. Buccaneers rush defense is good, but their pass defense is one of the worst, like I talked about earlier. And I think they're going to go up by 21 to maybe 3-7, something like that, real fast. So if they're going to at least get 3 to 4 touchdowns, I see CMC have to be one. So I'm going to put 3 units on it because it's so juiced. That's going to get you just a little bit above 1 unit. So obviously I'm risking a lot to get a little.
Yeah, that's a little push.
I think if you said that before he started this streak, you would have sounded asinine, if that's the proper word. And then at the end of it, you would have been like, well, I'm up 25 units on this bull, getting a touchdown every single game. So I'm going to try it out and see how it goes for the first week back of a new streak. We'll see how it goes from that point forward. But let's move on to our long shots. I got to log on to my
All right, I'm going with your classic anytime touchdown long shot.
Yes, the one that never
hits. I'm keeping it 3 legs, nothing too crazy. Staying with James Conner, so on top of my other bet, and then I'm gonna add 2 tight ends. I got Jake Ferguson from the Cowboys, and I got Sam Laporta from the Lions. So put them 3 together to get 1 touchdown each. You get plus 1,542. Who was it
from the Lions?
Sam Laporta, their tight end.
Interesting.
So pretty good odds, I would think, honestly.
Yeah.
For all guys that are targeted pretty heavily in the red zone.
All right. Mine is also an anytime touchdown scorer, but I have 2, maybe 3.
Maybe 4.
No, it's 2. No, what's this one? Yeah. No, just 1. 1 plus a giveaway, which is long shot is a giveaway, but this one is plus 3,112. It's a 4-legger. I got anytime touchdowns, like I said, Austin Eckler. So Eckler versus Packers. Pat Fryermuth is the big number one, the one that's getting all the juice odds. Pat Fryermuth, Steelers tight end versus Browns. It should be his first game back, unless for some reason he doesn't play, even though he had a full practice already, and they said that he was most likely going to. And then I'm taking Montgomery versus the Bears. You're taking Laporta. I'm taking Montgomery. Montgomery
Both
almost
probably
didn't
will score.
get me the lock last week, and he pulled it off with some crazy 80-yard rush, which then his rushing yards went over. So that was great. And then I'm taking CMC anytime touchdown score. So CMC, Montgomery, Eckler, all three of those. That's just what they do. Honestly, it's what they do. So it really comes down to Pat Fryermuth. Unfortunately, they're all 1 o'clock games besides CMC. CMC is 4 o'clock. But I'm definitely not opting out of that.
Mine are all ones.
And hopefully Pat Fryermuth pulls it off, because if Pat Fryermuth pulls it off, then I feel very confident in this long shot, even though I say that a lot during all my long shots. But like I said earlier, make sure you make your YouTube subscription to us public. You can find out how to do it on YouTube. I'll probably make a reel to show you how to do it to be entered into our giveaways. And hopefully we can spread the love.
I mean, just a secondary option.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Yeah. Like I said, we will do our best to figure out who's subscribed and who's not subscribed any way that we can. But with that being said, I am doing another giveaway. I did one last time, and it hit with Michigan. Your boy's back at it with Michigan. These are my my dogs for the year. Screw Georgia dogs. It is now about Michigan dogs. It is about the Beavers. I think they're the Beavers. But either way, no, Michigan.
Oh, that's their mascot.
I think it's
stupid,
or it's like the Weasels or something. I don't know. I forget exactly.
I don't think it's Beavers, but
anyway, I'm taking. It's a 3-legger. It's only plus 185. Last time it was like plus 3 something. This one's plus 185. I'm taking Michigan at an alternate of negative 17.5. Then I'm taking Detroit Lions at an alternate of negative 2.5 versus the Bears. Most likely that will hit. And then I'm taking CMC at plus 40 rushing yards. Most likely that will hit versus Buccaneers. So with those two most likely hitting, I think it's going to come down to Michigan. Michigan is getting 19.5 points right now, I think, versus Maryland.
What's the line by themselves for Michigan?
So that 19.5?
No, with 17.5, you got it right.
I got 17.5 by itself is minus 130. It's a good straight line, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know why you added all the other juice.
Just to get it up there and give away more money. It's a giveaway, so. But either way, I mean, it's Detroit Lions covering 2.5 versus Bears. That's bound to happen. CMC to get 40 rushing yards. That's bound to happen.
Bound to happen, but go for
Okay,
it.
I think it is. Either way, like you said last time, you're like, damn, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. And they all hit, so I think they're all going to hit. We're going to play back this video. We're going to be able to give away some cash because it's all going to hit.
It's not going to hit. I just said 2 juice.
Yeah, juicy like that fart.
3 legs of...
Yeah, 3 legs of greatness. That's what it was. They're all negative last time, too, in the hit.
I'm just saying it's a lot of juice for plus... Or a lot of legs for plus 180.
The toughest part, I think, is going to be Michigan minus 17.5 because this is the game between Penn State and they're going to have to worry about going to Ohio State, which is the game that matters the most because if they're going to beat Maryland, it's that simple, but how much do they care about beating them by a lot is the question because they have to go to Ohio State and then beat them in order to get to the playoffs. But yeah, take that at plus 185. We'll be giving away some Kiss Cash if that hits. But let's move on to what you're all here for. And if you're not here for that, then you need to be here for that because our locks are stupid at hit percentage.
Yeah.
You want to go over yours first?
Yep. So you're already talking shit on it. So we
Damn,
got
talk shit. What is it?
Eagles
Maryland versus
taking
Michigan?
on the Chiefs. So we're going right back to it.
Okay.
Isaiah Pacheco under 48.5 rushing yards, negative 114 odds, 5 units. This is hit
What is it? Under what?
48.5. So
Okay.
pretty much the 50 line.
I'm fine with that with Pacheco because Chiefs are very pass heavy.
No,
team.
Pacheco's never been a really explosive type running back.
No.
I mean, he has some speed, so if he hits a good hole, he can get a good 30, 40-yard rush, but he's not some guy who's going to break away on his own. So because of that, Eagles aren't going to let up too much. Like I said before, their yards per carry without the breakaway plays, you're talking like 2.5 to like some of the best running backs. So take is under. They're 8-2 on the year, I think. 8-2 or 7-2.
Who?
They've only
Chiefs?
lost twice to
Chiefs
the
lost.
running backs. No, the Eagles. The Eagles against the running backs line.
Oh, yeah. they
Only
lost
2
twice.
running backs have gone over. So, yeah. So majority of the time they're shutting people down. Even when they go over like 10 yards. Like there hasn't been a single rusher over 100 yards or even close.
Checo got 76 rushing yards last year versus Philadelphia, but their defense wasn't even close to what they are
No,
now.
not even close. And they're still full health, so let's run it. Let's blow out Andy Reid.
All right. This is like the first time in a long time that you've taken a one-legger for your lock, so I'm very interested in how this goes. The last time you did it, I think, was
It's
Eagles
Monday
rushing.
night.
I think that was the last time you did it. It was Eagles
So-
rushing.
Either I go into Monday night, like, all right, I'm up a couple units. Worst case, I just go back to even or close to even.
Or you're like,
Or I'm down, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to go real down. So we'll see what happens.
as long as it's not Thursday now, that's all I gotta say. I thank God that Thursday is not Monday in the way the schedule works as far as what's the first game and what's the last game, because I hate Thursday night with a passion, and I hope you guys all do too, because it's annoying. But moving on to my lock, I kind of already picked some of this and talked about some of this, but
How many legs?
it is 3 legs.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's 3 legs.
That was the juice.
Yeah, 3 legs. We got a bunch of juicies. So
like CMC
I obviously already
25
talked
plus
about
yards.
CMC getting 40 rushing yards. I'm going to take him at 50 rushing yards here. CMC versus the Bucks. Obviously, it's a tough rushing defense, but it's never about how good the rushing defense it is for CMC, but how healthy they are.
Okay.
Which they have Trent Williams and they have Debo back. So they both came back and
What do you had last week?
they
65?
shine. Oh, like 100? Or
Was that the week before?
yeah, when Trent was out.
Sure.
Yep.
Mm.
Positive.
All right, I believe it.
95 rushing yards
All right,
this past
I
week.
believe you.
Trent was out,
Yeah, I know.
and he only had 54 rushing yards, 45 rushing yards, and 43 rushing yards. But anyway, moving on. CMC plus 50 rushing yards. Then I'm taking 49ers at minus 6.5. So right under a touchdown alternate spread versus Buccaneers. Buccaneers are trash, dude.
That's a hit.
It's as simple as that. They're trash, and I'll
I
explain
like that
why in a
over
little
CMC.
bit. What?
So I like that over CMC's leg.
Oh, yeah. And then I got Lions minus 5.5 alternate spread. But if you think they're gonna dominate Bucks, then you're most likely going to see him rushing a lot, which I can't see him not getting 50.
Or he could sit after he somehow,
Yeah, it's possible.
Gets
After somehow getting
40.
100 rushing yard breakaway.
like a 100-yard pass.
Or that, yeah. That could happen. Lions, the third leg is Lions minus 5.5. That's an alternate as well. I think they're at 7.5 right now. And that gives you plus 182. So it's my second plus one. I think our plus ones when we both
feel like
did
you're,
it,
like,
they both
pushing
hit or
your-
they lost. I
What?
think they both hit when we had both had plus ones.
Yeah, I hit.
Yeah, I think that was the same week I hit
Just
too.
surprised how high you went. With the lock.
And on top of that, it's plus 182 for 6 units. So this gets you a little bit above 10 units profit for your boy and for you if you want to follow it. So
I like it because odds are good. Just feel like, I don't know, every time I go lock, I'm like, how safe can I get?
Yeah.
While still
I feel you.
staying even.
but these teams are going
Like
up
I
against
probably would have went to like, I don't think they have lines. Do they have a 40 plus for CMC?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
I took it on one of the parlays.
I probably would have taken that instead. That's the only thing I would change.
Okay.
Probably
That's-
drop
that's
odds a lot.
Definitely understandable. Yeah, it drops it like by 40.
But, yeah, but I'd still like that.
Buccaneers have only let 5 running backs go over 50 rushing yards. James Cook, 67, which is versus the Bills. Good team, like I said. Buccaneers are trash besides versus good teams. Tyler Algier on Falcons, he got 59. Cordell Patterson, he got 56. That was the day that Robinson had the flu or whatever, and he can go suck a big one because He made me lose my fantasy, but Alvin Kamara went over it in 51, and your boy Swift went over it for 130 rushing yards with the Eagles. So basically, when he played the Eagles, Bills, and Saints, the only other team they played that was good was I forget. I have it written down here, but basically, the running backs go over the 50 rushing yards. Every time Trent Williams and Debo was active, CMC got 50 plus, and 4 were 85 and over. So 4 of the no, not 4 of whatever. I don't know how many there was, but 4 of them went 85 rushing yards or more. And every time Trent Williams and Debo played, he got 50 plus. CMC's line is set at 66.5 right now. So obviously it's juicing it down by 17 total points or yards. The only team that Bucks played and are as good as the 49ers, here are the Eagles, the Lions, and that's it. That's the only good teams they played. And they lost by 14 versus both of them. So that helps on the -6.5 alternate spread for 49ers. Plus the rushing, as long as they don't completely blow them out, like you said, with a pass for CMC. But if they're going to win by a lot and they're going to continuously win, it's got to be through the run game, hopefully. But it could be through the passing game. You never know, especially with Buccaneers defense being horrible in the passing game. Although Bucs are good at stopping the run, they're 31st in passing yards allowed per game, which helps Purdy slice and dice with those weapons that he needs, which also helps again for the -6.5 spread. The 49ers pass rush and front is comparable, if not better than the Eagles now, with Chase Young coming over like I talked about earlier. The Bears have not covered this 6 out of 10 weeks, which is over 50%. The teams that they have covered against are the 1-8 Panthers, the 5-5 Raiders, the 4-6 Commanders, and the 4-5 Broncos. The only time they really cover this -6.5 is versus bottom of the barrel trash, especially when it comes to defenses. The Bears are 26 in passing yards allowed per game and second in rushing yards allowed. They're second in rushing yards allowed, which is insane to me. Would you think the Bears are second in rushing yards allowed?
Nope.
For getting destroyed?
But that's probably because they got destroyed by somebody and outlined it, pushed it one way.
Maybe, yeah. But they're also 27th in points allowed per game. So obviously all of these stats help with the Lions -5.5. They really have played no one good besides the Chiefs and maybe the Chargers, if you want to say the Chargers, because of their offense, which they lost by 31 to the Chiefs and 17 to the Chargers. So if you're going to compare them with another good team like the Lions, then most likely they're going to be able to cover this 5.5. Most likely the 49ers are going to be able to cover the 6.5. And it just comes down to CMC not getting outlied for game script. That's all it comes down to, because I think everyone thinks he can easily get 50 plus rushing yards. It just comes down to game script. So as long as they don't just use him in the pass game and then sits and Mitchell comes in, that's the only way I could see it missing. But hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully we hit a lock of +182 for 6 units. And that's it. You got anything else?
Nope. Just look out for the reel for Fantasy Heartbreak.
Fantasy Heartbreak. I got one I still have to do, which is going up to Stranger Danger and asking them or trying to convince them to pick one of my bets. So we'll see what I can do with that and when we can post it. But be on the lookout for that. And then, like I said, if you're not a public subscriber to our YouTube channel, go over there and try to figure out how to be a public subscriber so we can easily see you. If not, we're going to try to dig and then give away, and we'll make it into a reel, announce the giveaway, and give you